Hi, it's me again. And I am today in my friend's RV and I thought I'll make a video about water filters. I know, it may not seem all that important, but it's actually pretty important if you think about it. You use the water for everything you do, cooking, drinking, and everything else. Cleaning too. So it's always good to have clean, filtered water. Uh, this particular RV and also a lot of other RVs and boats too apparently do come with a drinking water filter. Now personally I never had any experience with these before, so it'll be quite interesting. I'm going to be changing this out because we don't know how old the one here is, and it says on these things that they should be changed out once a year. So um, it's probably past due for the one in here. I don't know how long it's been in here, but we have another one, so we might as well put that one in. Like I said, I never had any experience with these, so we're gonna see how that goes. It looks like it's pretty simple. By the looks of it, you just take the old one out by twisting, pulling down, and then you put the new one in. But like I said, I never had any experience with these before, so this is all new to me. Um, Now, this one here is underneath the sink, and yeah, should be pretty easy. These things are, like I said, they're for RVs and boats, and I guess my RV is just on the older side that doesn't have it, but it's good to have a fresh, clean water, uh, drinking water filter in the RV if you're living in it, or just using it as, for camping every once in a while. Because you never know where you're going to be hooking up at, what does the water condition in, and if you're, unsure, well, it helps having a good water filter, uh, especially for drinking, because you don't know what's in the water, and but this, you don't really have to worry about it too much. I mean, there's still things that a water filter cannot filter out, but I mean, for a majority, it does a pretty good job, as far as I know. Um, Now, I don't know, but I think you can get these everywhere. Uh, just like that brings me to another one. We're also going to be changing out what's called a inline water filter. Now, this is for your whole RV. If you're going to be hooked up somewhere and you're going to be using the water, it's always a good idea to put one of these in it. And these are so easy. Uh, this RV already comes with one, but um, this is just something you put on your inlet water hose or your inlet adapter, and you screw this on, and then you put the hose for the uh, street water or whatever you hooked up at right in here. And this is just basically active charcoal, I think. Does a pretty good job. Um, it does say on most of these, it says that you should change them out every 3 months. Um, I have one on my RV, and I need to get a new one too, because it's been on there for way longer than 3 months. But hey, it helps to get semi-clean water in your RV, because like I said, you don't know what's in the water, sediments and all that. I don't know. I mean, it's not good to have that all build up in your water lines. And you got to change out your water lines, and then you don't want to do that because it's a big job. It's a disaster. I've done it, and trust me, you don't want to do it. So whatever you can do to keep your water lines clean and debris free and all that, get one of these. I would recommend that for any RV, trailer, camper, whatever. Get one of these and put them on, and if you can change them out after 3 months or so, depends on how much water you're really using, But yeah, it really does a good job. We'll get into this one later, but first we're gonna go ahead with this one. And like I said, I have no experience in these, but should be simple, right? My experience so far is simple with RVs, hasn't really come a long ways. Anyways, we'll catch up on that later. Okay, so let's see. It's a bit more difficult. I just started this. I'm pretty sure that I have pressure on this. So I'm gonna go and turn the water off. Yep, that was right. There was water in the line, and I turned it off, cleared out the line, and now I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, still have some water coming out. Oh yeah. Should always make sure you get some kind of pan or at least a towel when you're doing this kind of stuff, because, well, I just had some water coming out. No biggie. Okay. So, and yeah, it looks like it's the same one. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put that one right back in. Okay. Okay, well, it was actually pretty easy. It was just removing the old one and putting the new one in. I like it when it's easy like that. Tip of advice, make sure you turn off the water before you're gonna do that. I don't know if you guys saw, but once I turned off the water, that filter was able to turn a lot more freely than with the water being on, which should give you an indication like, check your water, make sure you turn it off. And I'm glad I did, because otherwise it would have just been water gushing everywhere inside the cabinet, which that would have been not good. And also put a pan or something underneath, because when you remove the old one, you're going to have some remnants of the water that's in the line still coming out. Thankfully, this wasn't very much. I just picked up a towel and just kind of wiped it up, and it's fine. But yeah, you want to make sure you get all that water away, because you don't want it to damage any wood or cabinets or anything like that. So I'm just really glad and happy to know it was easy like that. And now we're gonna go on this one, which is outside. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, this is the outside one. I'm gonna take this one off and put the new one on. I did have the water still turned off. Of course, you gotta remove all the little ends and pieces that they put on when you're first buying it, just to make sure nothing gets in there. And as you can tell, this is the original adapter, which I'm just gonna go ahead and use it anyway, because it's already on here. I might as well. Um, you don't really have to change these out very much, so you're just gonna have an extra piece. Might come in handy someday. So, water flow is going this way. You want to make sure that. There's only one way you can hook it up. Make sure the rubber grommet is inside. And there you have it. Now, I only have done this hand tied. That's all you need to do. Using any kind of tools to tighten this is over tightening them. And you don't want to do that because it can really mess up the fittings inside. You can break the little rubber grommet up here. I'm just going by what I've always done, hand tied. This is the best way to do things. Then we get all the water out of the old one and then just toss it. Alright, and that'll be it for this one. Now, I'm going to go back inside and I'm going to show you guys what needs to be done after you get done installing these water filters. So, I'll see you guys in a second. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and turn the water back on and we'll go from there. Hi, I just got back from the outside and I got the inline water filter hooked up now and a new drinking water filter also hooked up. And I did turn the water on, double checked to make sure it wasn't leaking, and it wasn't, so that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys of what needs to be done after you install a new water filter. So first, make sure that you got water, right? You see this? That's all the air that was filled up in the water lines just by doing that. Now you can tell the water is pretty clear. The first few drops around streams that you're going to get out of the water line after replacing an inline water filter is going to be black. That's because that's the active charcoal. Just let it run for a few minutes. Not a big deal. But you want to make sure you get all the air and all that charcoal out. So the filter can actually do its job in filtering your water. And well, now it's pretty clear. And I got a pretty nice stream. Now, you might want to do that with all your faucets, just so that you can get all the air that may be in there all out. If you don't do that with all of them, that's okay. Just be sure to know that if you're going to be using the other faucets and you're wondering, like, why is it sputtering, it's probably because you hadn't cleared out the line of all the air that might have been left in the line. It may be, maybe not. the things are just gonna work their way out either way. But yeah, nice and clean. Now, let's see about the drinking water. Okay. Same thing. Was a lot of air buildup, and it was coming out black for a little bit. But that's the only faucet for your drinking water on this RV. So this is the only one I have to worry about with this one because of the fact that this is just its own line. And there's nothing else hooked up to this. And yeah, it's pretty nice and cool and nice and clear. So that filter's doing its job now too. And that's it. So I just wanted to show you guys something real quick. When you are hooked up to street water, or wherever you're hooked up at, you need a pressure regulator, and you need a drinking water hose. There's a difference between a garden hose and the drinking water hoses. You don't want to use a garden hose to hook up to your RV or camper because I guess the garden hoses has some chemicals that are harmful to you, and you really don't want to ingest those. So you want to make sure you get a drinking water hose. And from what I have seen, all of the drinking water hoses have been white, but they should definitely say on it, drinking water hose. If it doesn't say that on it when you're buying it, then it's more than likely not a drinking water hose. So you want to be sure that, plus pressure regulator. Oh, excuse me, it's hot today. But also a pressure regulator. If you're hooked up to a regular faucet and you open it up, most of them will have way too much pressure for your RV, camper, whatever you may be having. That's just the way it is. So having a pressure regulator really helps out to not get any leaks or just having too much pressure on your water lines. You turn on the faucet and it's just got like all this water coming out, and it's a lot of work for your water lines to handle. So having it's just like a little piece you put inside the line, your water line from the faucet. Um, you can fairly get them cheap. They, from what I've seen, they're like about $5 or so, give and take. But yeah, you want to make sure that, plus the drinking water hose, definitely have that. So I'm going to show you guys how they look like. So this piece right here, this whole piece here, that is your pressure regulator. And this is my water hose, so it just goes right up to my RV right over there. And it's a drinking water hose, it's white. And I've used it for, well, just about a year, getting close up to a year. So they usually do last. But you always do want to check them, make sure that, nothing's damaged and nothing's leaking. So yeah, I mean, be sure to have this. And like I said, you can just hook it right up to your faucet, and then you just hook up your drinking water hose right to that.